pretty much that sort of information about what's going on. If we have like a new beer, or if we have yeah, things like that.
Yeah.
Just so to kind of build a little bit of community around the shop and
Yeah.
because it probably will help sales or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well, you good to start? Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for meeting me anyway. And you're okay with it being recorded and everything?
Yeah, no problem.
So you are the owner of this shop, I understand? Yeah. And how long has the shop been here?
It will be a year on 14th of March since we opened.
Okay.
So we're getting our first anniversary.
Yeah, soon.
Yeah.
And how long have you been in the beer industry kind of thing?
This is my first venture on beer industry. I've been a kind of craft beer fan and also a home brewer for quite a long time, like a few years back, 5-6 years. So now, and I owned an accounting business and I got bored.
So you came into
and I sold the shares in that company and I opened this one.
Okay. Cool. So how long have you been in London for? Yourself, yeah.
I live in London since 93.
Okay, long time.
25 years.
Okay, do you live in Hackney?
I live in Hackney since 2010.
Okay, and what drew you to come to Hackney?
2010.
Yeah, what drew you to?
What drew me? Well, I mean, I used to live in Pimlico for a few years there, and with my wife and my child, so the place was very small. We needed to move out anyway, and we were going out in kind of Shoreditch area anyway when we were going out for a drink or something like that. And then this opportunity came for a purchase of a flat, which was a newly built kind of development just near Flora Park.
Okay.
And it was good, not very expensive. It was after the financial crash, so property prices were a bit down.
Yeah.
That's what I came to like the area.
Yeah.
The diversity, the kind of energy of people. I don't know.
It's a cool place to live.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's not Westminster.
No.
You don't have a cleaner on bank holiday, Monday bank holiday cleaning the streets. But having said that, I mean, since 2010 things have changed. So I think, I mean, the politics of today.
Yeah.
The budgets the councils have cut and all these things. So it's not easy.
No, it's not. So in my project, I've been interviewing actual brewers who are in Hackney.
Yeah.
Are you closely associated to any of those in Hackney? Are the beers predominantly from Hackney, or are they from all over the country?
Majority of the beers we hold are UK breweries, and we've got quite a few from London.
Okay.
Hackney Brewery is our closest one.
Yeah.
We've got a good relationship with them.
Yeah.
We stock always our beers are here. It's one of the beers we offer to people like at the lowest price because of the name as well as we made a deal with them. So for example, like that, those 4-packs are
they're Hackney Brewery.
Yeah, they're a Hackney Brewery. So this is kind of the push brand in a way of Hackney. We are in Hackney Road.
Yeah.
Hackney kind of council, so it makes sense to.
Yeah.
And then of course we've got like Howling Hops, which is in Hackney Wick.
Yep.
I don't know if you met them.
I'm meeting Hackney Brewery next week and Howling Hops, I think today actually.
Hackney, they're in Hackney Wick. Then we have Deviant and Dandy. You know them?
Met them on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Great brewery that is.
I can't remember now. We had I think it sold out 5 Point, Red Church.
Yeah.
Although Redchurch technically is in
It's not Hackney.
Tower Hamlet.
Yeah, I've checked.
They are on the other side of the street.
Yeah.
Basically, the other side of the street is
Yeah, I think you're right on the kind of on the edge, aren't you? Here?
yeah. This is like basically this side of the street is Hackney. That side is Tower Hamlet.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think your customers like the connection to Hackney? Do you think they so if they see these beers and then maybe they're from Hackney, is there
I
any
think
feeling?
so. There is a little bit of that feeling of supporting the locals.
Yeah.
So when they see Hackney as a brand, and like yesterday, it was a guy like, I would like Hackney Brewery. So they have usually breweries have got their own kind of fan base,
Yeah.
so to speak. They have their. I mean, what they like Hackney Brewery does this core range, which is like 3-4 beers, and then they do seasonal beers, like,
Okay.
all the time,
Yeah.
new beers. We consistently kind of have them on our taps, or I mean the cans are always here.
Yeah.
And then anything they release, we always get it, because with them it's easy because they're so close. Even if we order just one box, because lots of breweries have got minimum order
Okay.
of like 4 boxes, but if we need just one box, they just drop it.
That's good.
They just drive here, drop it. It's kind of a good relationship.
Yeah. A lot of breweries I've spoken to, they see it as quite an artistic process, the brewing of a craft beer.
Narcissistic.
Artistic.
Artistic.
Artistic in creative, and it's very. Is that something you found when you were doing your home brewing?
Yeah, I mean definitely. It's for me, it's like cooking.
Yeah.
It's creative. You can add ingredients. You can take ingredients out. You can tweak certain things to see how that works. You can think of many sort of ideas on the paper, and then
Yeah.
how you have to see how they work in practice. Then also scaling them up. Doing a 100-liter batch and doing 10,000-liter batch is a totally different process.
Yeah.
And the recipe may not be the same. So then you have to work it out how to get the same flavor on a on a bigger scale.
In terms of scale, are these types of beers are the breweries quite small?
Majority, yeah. I mean, in Hackney, all the breweries in the area are very small.
Yeah.
Like a Boxcar is another small brewery. I don't know if
I went by yesterday. I'm meeting them.
yeah.
this
Did
week.
you see the place?
Yeah, tiny.
I mean, it's just really small. I think that their capacity is like 300 liters or something like that.
Yeah,
They brew
it's
batches
small.
of 300 liters, which is but because they brew good beer, they still manage to build a business
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
So
Their beer must be quite expensive now if they brew small
yeah, the
batches.
smaller. I mean, yeah.
But if it's a quality product.
Because the labor, for example, the time and the labor to make the beer is the same, whether you're making 2,000 liters or
Yeah.
100 liters. Maybe a bit longer to clean up bigger kind of tanks, but the boiling, the mash, the fermentation, time-wise is the same.
Yeah.
And so, of course, it's more like manpower that you need is the same amount of hours, whether you make 100 or so. In scale, it makes it kind of much more cheaper to make bigger.
You have there's some taps down there, right?
Yeah, we've got 6 taps on drop at the moment, 4 beers on.
And is that just like for tasting, or do you
No,
actually sell?
you can drink in.
Yeah.
We've got a drinking license.
Okay.
About 3 months or so now. That's why we got now the tables and the front bar there.
Yeah.
We also do fill growlers and 1 liter bottles.
Okay.
We've got a machine to do that.
Yeah.
Without waste.
Yeah.
The growler filling kind of growler bars are not very common in the area.
Okay.
So I mean, in the UK generally it's quite an American trend, which is kind of starting to.
I'm not
catch up
familiar
a bit.
with that. What could
Basically, you just fill a big 2 liter growler bottle. It's an old English term apparently. It's like a few hundred years back, growler was just a bucket with a lid that people would carry beer home from the pub.
Okay.
And now it's a jar, and I'll show it to you. It's up there. So you fill those and you take it home. It's much cheaper than buying the can. It's environmentally friendlier. You just watch the growler, keep it, and come back and refill it.
Oh, that's
So it's like, and it's a fresher beer from the keg, because the beer in the keg usually is fresher. It's sold much quicker. Or the cans can be, or the bottles can be 6 months old, or they can, some of the beer has got kind of 12 months life shelf, so it could be, it's an older beer kind of. And hoppy beers need to be fresher to be to get more aromas, because as the time passes, the aromas start to go down.
Okay. So the people who would come in and maybe buy the growlers or come in and drink, can you tell me as much about your customer as you can? Like, what are they like? Is it diverse? How old are they? What's your kind of market audience?
Yeah, I mean, it's generally the way I see it, sort of like, it's two types of customers. One is that are into craft beer, and they chase certain breweries and certain beers. And every time we get a new beer, which is kind of hype, because some of the beers get really kind of hype, and we put it on on an Instagram saying we got this beer, and then you just see same people either kind of send a message saying, oh, keep one, because we've got a loyalty scheme as well with our customers, so we give back 5% of what they purchase. It's like nectar points kind of thing. And then they use that to buy more, to pay the beer that they buy next time, or accumulate and then get a free beer or whatever. And they just send a text saying, oh, can you keep a couple for me please, I'm coming down later, or something like that. Or and sometimes we tell them, oh, just buy it online and then we'll make it ready, so because the stock, it's easier than to keep track of stock when it goes through the system. And then you've got the general sort of neighbors that do know about craft beer, do like craft beer, but it doesn't matter to them that much which beer is coming out now and which beer hasn't, so they come down on a regular basis when they need beer. So they, once a week or once a month or twice a month. We have a little group of kind of curious people like you who are not into it, and they say, oh, let me tell you, I'm going to this friend and they like craft beer, I don't know anything about it. So then, that is another kind of thing. But these are less kind of people. People don't want to buy, I guess, beers if they, or, a present you don't know about to somebody. So, but we have people like that.
Okay. Do you find there's always been an association with a middle class, maybe northern male who drinks ale? There's always, like in England anyway, there's always been that kind of association to beer. Is that changing? Is in a sense, are more women drinking beer, or younger people, older people?
I would say, I mean, sometimes we put some like small advertising or something on Facebook, and it gives you quite a good kind of information. Then people that are looking at it, they're advertising, and that are clicking on it or liking or something. It gives you some information, especially like if you look at because you asked about the age group. So definitely it's about 25 to 45.
Okay.
These are the biggest group. We've got, of course alcohol is kind of 18. And I even when I advertise, I put it 21 and up. I don't put it kind of 18, just because also they are not kind of our customers, the young people, because one, the beer it's not a supermarket beer just to get drunk, cheap. It's not. A lot of beer is and expensive because it's expensive to make, because they are high on alcohol, the duty is higher, things like that. But and then when I look at female male, then it's about 30-70. 30 is female, definitely more. We have some customers like that. I mean, we have a neighbor, she lives nearby. She's a home brewer, but now actually she quit her job and started working as a brewer in a brewery, which is, I think, in Surrey somewhere, or near Brighton or something like that. So I do think, and the industry has got some female brewers, and has got, like in Instagram, there's some, so to say, influencers that are women, and they organize, for example, like tastings. They organize sort of tours on the brewery, and I can see people that are working on the beer industry that there's increasing number of females.
Yeah.
But as far as the male kind of stereotype, I don't think now it's any more associated with that.
Yeah.
Because it's just everywhere. It's mainstream.
Yeah.
The beer. I mean, because big breweries are buying craft breweries and then they're putting them into supermarkets, so access to everybody. And I mean, one particular brewery, which is Brewdog from Scotland, has raised awareness of craft beer in UK.
Yeah, Brewdog is kind of
they are the leading brewery, and also because they never did advertising, they just did PR stunts and things like that. That so much attention was given to them, and now they are so big that they are everywhere.
Do you see the microbreweries that exist in the UK? Do you see that trend? Do you think that's going to be repeated, basically? So Brewdog escalated to this massive company.
Yeah.
Do you think that's kind of the goal of most brewers, or do you think they quite enjoy being this niche?
No, I think there's few breweries that we work with that they just don't want to grow. They've got a very niche sort of fan base, and they've got their beer sold, sells out. So they're happy with the financial reward. They just want an easy life, and because growing, it's a stress. It's
well, there's all the
you have to have that kind of mind frame to kind of and that desire to be big, and it's difficult.
Are you aware of the Small Brewers Relief?
Yeah.
So do you think that's an incentive to kind of not actually progress?
Well, the thing, I mean, there's discussions about it in forums, and I am kind of, always listen to people what they've said to say. It is a bit of a problem because suddenly, if you grow 3 times, it may not be a problem since you've got. But if you just grow like for 20%, you suddenly paying 50% more duty, and it hits your sales, and then it's just difficult, and your profits will go down.
Yeah.
Literally, because you've got 10,000 hectoliters, half price, half the
discounted.
Rate, discounted, and then suddenly you just make another 1,000 liters,
and then
it hits you all. It's not like
it's not like the only.
It's not that the first 10,000 hectoliters is, and then this. It's not like PAYE when you get the tax allowance, and immediately then you have to pay full rate for the whole amount.
That's quite a bizarre.
Exactly. So it's just a cliff.
Yeah.
That you go like this, and then as soon as you want to grow, it will just go down. So your profit will immediately go. So there was a talk maybe that government kind of wants to scale it up, so it doesn't hit, because that's creates that okay, if you do a business plan, your calculation, you're increasing capacity for 30%, but even if you're selling everything, your profit will not be, it will be still less than making, staying where you are and you're making more profit. So unless you get a big investment and just to, I don't know, triple or quadruple your capacity, and then, put money into sales to reach those to sell all that beer, it's difficult, and that's what keeps, I think, some of the breweries quite where they are, because it's just not, it's I think it's just kind of financial decision. That but also, I mean, with uncertainties that UK is facing with the Brexit, I have seen kind of that I think lots of breweries will close down, small ones that started 2 years back, 2-3 years. There's a lot of small breweries in the rest of the UK, which they may be quite small and they just provide some beer to local pubs, or their capacity is it could be 4,000 litres kind of a batch. So.
And you think Brexit is related?
I certainly do think so. I mean, the pound has lost value. Most of the hops are being imported because the hops used in craft beer are not UK, and a lot of malt gets also from outside UK, because just consumption here is high, and some specialty malts, and also Germany is a bigger producer of things like that. So you need to import. Once pound has lost value. If it,
If we leave with no deal.
Exactly, it's totally uncertain, and also people are holding on to their money because they don't know what's happening. It was, the worst kind of sales since 2008 were reported, before Christmas. The majority, like the big retail companies, even in food industry and clothing and everything, they reported that since 2008 hasn't been this bad because people are not spending. So they started discounting before Christmas, during Christmas, after Christmas. They were just giving discounts because nobody was buying anything. So obviously that hits the sales and the profits, because if you're giving a discount, So it's until something gets done, people are gonna. The whole economy is stagnated. Billions of pounds are leaving the country. So obviously this is going to affect everybody kind of down the chain.
Definitely. So because if we're left with no deal and then suddenly imports shoot up in price, then beer prices are going to go up, aren't they? So
that's what I mean. So people are going to go to drinking the supermarket beers, the Stella and Budweiser and Heineken. These are big breweries that it doesn't affect them that much.
Doesn't affect them,
They have. They bought, for example, a few small breweries, like so to kind of expand the range, so people can buy an IPA and a pale ale for under £2, £1.90. And they give deals like 4 cans for £6 and things like that. Because also supermarkets then make tiny little profit because people come to buy a can of beer, but then they buy a bit of milk. It's how they work. They work in very low margins or not even a profit. It's
they're
like,
not as vulnerable to
£15 for a case of beer. It's ridiculous. That doesn't, they don't even make sense. I don't know if they're in breach of kind of licensing laws, because you cannot sell beer with even smaller the amount of duty or something like that. There is the price of the alcohol. That's why they want to make a minimum pricing for alcohol. So that supermarkets can't do that.
I know in like Sainsbury's you can buy a tin of lager for like 50p or something. Like you used to be able to buy it, I don't know if you can now, but a few years ago you could buy it so cheap, like the basics value.
Exactly. That's what I mean, because that's why they wanted to make I think the law was discussed about doing like that, minimum pricing, because of this, because of it will stop people on binge drinking. It will stop I don't know. Like there's in off licenses you have 2 liters cider for £1.80. 2 liters cider at I don't know 5, 6, 7% strength. I don't know because the duty, how much, which means it's made just pure out of sugar and fermented sugar. There's nothing there, and people will go for that when there's no money. They still need a buzz. They will need a buzz even more from the stress, financial stresses that they have.
In terms of alcohol content, there have been a few papers published about although craft beer has got this, sometimes has a higher alcohol content, it's not seen as something as a public nuisance because people don't go to drink craft beer to get drunk. Is that something you see in the industry?
In almost a year now, we had one case, I think, where somebody was a bit drunk, and we had to tell them to, either, we refused to serve more beer, like literally one person, because there was a beer event, like home brewers event, just down at Oval there, near the station there, and so they had already drank beer there. Some people were coming then, buying some beer here or whatever, and that was the only case where we had to tell somebody that, we can't serve you. You have too many. You're annoying other people as well. And but also that's the thing. You don't have pints of wine.
No.
So this is the thing. If the beer is 9-10%, it's a double, triple IPA or a stout, imperial stout or something. You just enjoy it as you know, you sip it slowly as you sip a wine. Because if it's a 3% beer, 4%, yes, you might have 3 or 4 pints when you go out with your friends. I don't know. This is how I drink anyway, kind of completely in a social circumstances only. And when I go with my friends, I just bring weak beer.
Yeah.
But you know, here I can have once a beer, or when I go home, I open after dinner, because some of them are like dessert wines, sweets and nutty, and they've got, I don't know, fruits and whatnot. You know, it's just we haven't had any kind of incidents. I don't think. It's also, I mean, lately there were all the sort of information that we get from, like, I don't know, surveys, and that actually young people are drinking less and less.
That's what I was going to ask you. So that so far I've found a real desire from consumers and the brewers are responding to that by producing low alcohol content beers, or actually non-alcoholic craft beers. So what do you sell? Do you sell any low alcohol?
Yeah, we've got. For example, up there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a stout actually, it's 0%, and then the rest are 0.3 to 0.5.
Okay, so there's definitely a market for that kind of thing.
Yeah, and then there's quite, even the big breweries and, you know, like well-known breweries like Cloudwater, Northern Monk, what's the Verdant, which are, you know, 3 top breweries in UK and are 3 best sellers. They all have a beer of 2.5, 3%, which it's called like table beer.
Yeah.
And every other brewery is making a low alcohol, and they do sell consistently. There's a lot of people come, oh, do you have something just low alcohol, like 2-3%, something that way.
Why do you think that's come about?
I think it's a cultural shift in the last 10 years with the rise of social media.
Okay.
I think people are socializing differently. People are not going to the pub to hear the gossip anymore.
Because they can get it online.
Yeah, because they are online, they are on the phone all the time. So they chat to each other, they hear this, they read news, they do. And then streaming of, Netflix, Amazon, Prime, these have changed completely our behavior as a culture.
Yeah.
So people, I am a generation a bit more of an email, you know.
Yeah.
But nowadays, everything has to be instant.
It's very quick now.
Yeah, everything here and there, and take a picture and everybody knows what you're doing straight away. Whether before time was a bit slow.
Yeah.
So you're you're probably a millennial. You're in that sort of category.
Yeah, I've grown up as that's evolved. I've kind of grown up with it.
Yeah.
So I do remember a time when it was just. It was much slower. I see exactly what you mean. How it's just got faster and faster and faster. But it's quite interesting about streaming and how you think that's changed. So you think people maybe are just having a more quiet nights in and watching Netflix, and they don't feel the need to go out and socialise in the pub anymore, that kind of thing.
I think so. I do think so, because there's also, I don't know, there's a rise. Basically, social media, the way I also see it, because I was looking at came across somebody online, kind of very successful businessman, and he had his parents' business, which was a wine shop like this, and then he turned it into a really big business, because this was in 90s, late 90s, when email was, so he was starting, and then even like as soon as 2000 started to hit or something, he started making videos, which was very new for then.
Yeah.
But he's like, we can't escape it. There's this social media is kind of is exposing us more who we really are, kind of like, just people like these sort of things, and as much as we are kind of sociable people, we are also very introverts. Everybody
Yeah.
likes to stay into their
Yeah.
home and just in their comfort of their.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's probably a financial element there as well. I think a lot of young people nowadays, for example, they more and more are living with their parents later and later because of
Housing
properties are
costs.
expensive. And so you have to travel a bit more to get your job and things like that. So it just there's many elements. I think the internet has changed our world forever.
Yeah,
Definitely. There's no way back.
Yeah. Staying on the beer topic, is there is most of your beer vegan?
Yeah.
So most craft beer is vegan, isn't it?
Yeah. Basically.
And do you use that in do you make a point of it?
Well, even breweries now, they don't bother to put it because they were always putting like, vegan friendly. Then now nobody kind of bothers to put it. It like is in glass or whatever it's called, or was traditionally put on cask beer, like a traditional English ale, to make it more clear. And most of craft beer, they don't bother with that because lots of beer is cloudy and sort of like.
What was it they
don't
used?
need.
Sorry?
They used it to make the beer clear.
Okay.
Because with a lager, what it's called lagering, you have to leave the beer for 6 weeks.
Right.
And that filters the beer, makes the beer clear. So any small particles of yeast, of hops, of anything starts to go down and it settles at the bottom.
Okay.
Because ale is made very quickly and you don't need to do that lagering, they use this isinglass, which is made out of fish bone.
Right.
Or something like that. And that helps sort of coagulate all the proteins and all the things and brings them down, and they do that during boiling, so they throw this tablet or a spoon of powder. And that was kind of
a quick way to do it.
Yeah, it's a quick way to do it.
People don't bother with that.
Yeah, now, new breweries, no. Because also there is a alternative which is made out of algae. But if you use that, then that makes it vegan as well. It just it's called Irish moss. So it's just made out of some algae, and so now even people don't bother even to ask. I mean, when I made beer myself, I never put anything like that. Maybe I would put that, but it was Irish moss. So I think people now don't even bother to ask.
They just assume.
Yeah.
Also, the consumer base there's probably associations between the people who are vegan and the type of person who drinks craft beer. I think maybe there might be some overlapping there. Do you see that?
I don't know. A lot of people are doing vegan diet nowadays, or more than usually. I mean, when I was in uni, I knew a person that was doing vegan, and it was like strange. And he was like a couple of years older than me. He had already finished, but he was working as a technician in the college, and we were hanging out and stuff. And he still is a vegan, but he kind of even then. I don't. I mean, as I said, like there is a smaller group of craft beer kind of fanatics, so to say.
Yeah.
But a general population now is so familiar and drinks craft beer that I can't kind of make any association whether it's vegan or not. It's more like I don't think it's a cultural thing really anymore. Like maybe I don't know. I don't know why you don't drink it. Did you just don't like it? The bitterness of the ales?
Yeah, I think
lager
so.
sweet.
Yeah,
I like lager.
I drink lager just because it's easy, it's cheap as a student. Like I need cheap beer. I think you're spot on when you said you only do your advertising 21 plus. I understand that completely because I don't know many people at all who would drink my age who would go.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
Okay.
So I can see. I was talking to my lecturers about my project, and those people, they're in mid 20s to late 30s, they really enjoy coming around Hackney and going to like these craft beer places.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely, I think there's an age aspect there. But I think I do like it. I can drink it. I think I'd just have to do some more research into what type, or like find a particular brew that I like.
Yeah, you have. I mean, the range is so big. I mean, you are aware of sour beers, for example. Like
No.
sour beers it's an old kind of style of beers that. But also the beer can go bad, and the only thing that happens is that it goes sour. Another bacteria gets in,
Right. Okay.
which is lactobacillus, which is the bacteria that makes yogurt.
Yeah.
So if it goes into the beer, it makes the beer sour as well.
Okay.
But in the last 3-4 years, there's this acquired taste about sour beers that people. I'm not a big fan of it.
No.
It does give me a heartburn, and also but it has taken kind of like. Then they put blackberries and blueberries and guava and mango and all these, like that fridge, and it's so popular. So we got IPAs one big fridge and sours one big fridge because are the most popular ones.
I've never heard of
some
those
are like
before.
smoothies. Basically, it's
Really?
a smoothie, but it's a beer because it's got a bit of malt and fermented malt and.
They're alcoholic as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it feels like that when you pour it on a glass. It's red like a juice, and it is thick like a smoothie. Sort of like.
Okay. How much do they retail for?
It depends.
Because I imagine is that a niche, quite a niche product?
No, I mean it totally depends what's included in them, which brewery is making it, where it's coming from. But there's a few styles. I mean, one it's called Guz, which is from it's a Germany style of beer, and it's even has salt in it.
Okay.
So any kind of beer that says Guz on it, it has salt, and I guess in the old days, because maybe the water had salt, they couldn't take the salt, and it became a style of beer centuries ago, but because it's like 2-3 centuries ago kind of style of beer in Germany, some parts of Germany, I can't remember where, and now it's been resurrected. I mean, the whole craft beer kind of movement started. Americans kind of resurrected the India Pale Ale recipes, and where they had loads of hops and things like that. It kind of started that, but it's like 20 years ago.
I think it was in like the 80s, 90s type kind of time.
Yeah, it's more like 90s pretty much. There's few, like beginning breweries like Sierra Nevada and Stone and some. In US they started that 25 years ago.
So we spoke quite in depth about beer. I'd like to talk about Hackney a bit. Why do you think there is, because there's definitely a clustering of breweries, there's two in London, there's breweries in Bermondsey and in Hackney. Why do you think Hackney especially has seen this clustering of breweries?
It's the cost of rent. Hackney, 25 years ago when I came to UK, Hackney was, I was new to London. I was, people would say, "Oh, don't go to Hackney, you'll get mugged and you'll get this." 25 years ago. So, I maybe came once or twice because somebody else was living here and I was scared. Because also London is a big city. If you come from somewhere else, in London it's massive. It does scare people. And also it wasn't expensive until about 10 years ago.
Okay.
When I was doing accounting, I had quite a lot of clients that are in creative industry, like photographers, designers, artists, and they all had studios in Hackney.
Okay.
Because rents are cheaper.
Yeah.
They have moved out because the leases expired and rent doubled and tripled, so they moved out. They've gone to Walthamstow, to Leytonstone. They're just going further and further away. So that's what happened here. And then suddenly, because they started about 10 years ago, these breweries, and they could, get in, one of the arches and things like that for a very good price. Another thing, and why then it's Bermondsey. I think Bermondsey was kind of similar area. It was quite cheap, and it had a lot of arches. And that is another answer as well, because I was speaking to one of our customers who is an older guy, and he's quite a knowledgeable person. He was saying, because we were talking why in west of London there isn't much. And he said, he linked it as well, which I thought made sense. He said the railways in the west London are all down on the ground.
Yeah.
In East London and
raised.
Southeast, they're all raised up, so there's a lot of space available.
Okay.
Cheap rents.
Yeah.
Industrial kind of
Big
spaces.
empty spaces.
Yeah, to rent. So that's why people come and rent here rather than going to, I don't know, Acton or going to Richmond.
Yeah.
Because there's no, we were saying there's nothing.
A lack of options
that's
and
that area which is kind of there isn't much going on. So I think that's why Hackney kind of had an advantage. But as I said, it's changing because of maybe gentrification, you could say it like that, but it's just in general because of lack of residential properties in London.
Yeah.
Any empty space is being built up,
Yeah.
brings new people, prices go up of rents around that.
Yeah.
There's so many developments happening. You can see like in Hackney Road, 1, 2, 3, 4
Yeah.
already, the old building raised down flats.
Yeah. Is there, so we've talked about this urban spaces like railway arches and stuff. Is there any more room for new breweries in Hackney? Do you think it's kind of reached its peak? Is it hard to say?
I don't know. This is the thing. It's difficult to say this because
you could also tie it into is there obviously craft beer is a bit of a trend recently. It's definitely seen a boom in how popular it is. How do you see longevity in that?
I think the economy in general would dictate that.
Okay.
I don't think it has to do with only if the rents of these commercial spaces will be reasonable and stay down. Will make businesses to stay here and will make businesses to start here again. If these start to go up ridiculously, then people will move out. Young entrepreneurs, people who have ideas, and want to change the world or create their own businesses. Yeah, they need to start somewhere from with a very low cost, and that's what I'm saying. They're going up to Walthamstow and Leytonstone. So and Croydon, even because. But from the kind of point of view of the beer, yes, I think there's always space for new breweries. Or new brewers, because as I said, like if you have got an idea that is better than the others, you will succeed with hard work, obviously. But it is now the competition is much bigger. Before, like 10 years ago, or even just 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you could have set up any brewery and you would sell your beer, no problem, because now you've got 20 other breweries, so to compete is higher.
Yes, definitely.
But quality and then the branding and all this it means something else. I mean, a lot of breweries like that. There's a brewer who was working for a brewery, he left to set up his own brewery, and then he just created something completely different, like the Wild Beer Brewery. They are, so different from anybody else. They do these sours, which is called wild fermentation, and all sorts of things that they are known for that. That's why they're so big now.
And this is a hard question, but there's all these breweries in Hackney. And it's fine if you're not aware of any. Are you aware of any negative impacts of the scale of breweries being in Hackney?
You mean negative impact of a number of breweries, or
the negative impact of maybe because Hackney has become a kind of, I think anyway, it's been maybe associated with the craft beer culture. Maybe. Do you think is Hackney, if you're outside of Hackney and you're looking in on Hackney, say you live in West London and you're looking at Hackney, do you think people's opinion or identity of Hackney, do you think that's been altered by the craft beer culture?
Possibly. I mean,
It's a hard question.
no, but it's just connected back to that earlier, because in Hackney, loads of artists lived in Hackney.
Yeah.
Because of the cheap rents, because of the area wasn't, it was poorer, was maybe the council wasn't run properly, maybe there wasn't enough money, there was more, I don't know, but to me it seems there's a lot of like council estates compared to maybe, I don't know, Westminster, because I live there, but so you have kind of working class, and that's what brought these people here, the creative, and it happens, this is everywhere in the world, that's what happens. Once the area is cheap, you have young creatives, entrepreneurs moving there, then everything gets regenerated because of that. And I think this had started, I came to Brick Lane 95-6 when there was only one bar and one coffee shop, and they were all like little film studios, sound studios. There were old Jewish families that had like textile shops, and you have the Bengali community with their restaurants there. But you go now there, it's totally different, completely different. And I was there because I needed, I was working, and I was doing my college. I needed to do something there, and there were sound studios and things like that. So, but now it's it's a tourist area. It's there's all the shops and the brands have moved in and things like that. There's even a pret-a-manger now on top of the So then suddenly people started to move a little bit further. So then it was this side, and now this side as well is kind of you've got Mikkeller moving down there, which is another big Danish brewery, very famous, with Rick Ashley.
Okay.
Do you know that? There's a bar there from the Mikkeller brewery, which is a very good brewery, but that as well have grown so big and commercial.
So the identity of Hackney has certainly been changing.
Yeah, and then Hackney was kind of got that identity of hipsters hanging around. So also the craft beer in the beginning was quite associated with the hipster kind of culture.
But is it decreased in how much it is associated with them?
I think so now. It's
become mainstream.
It's becoming a very mainstream, because you go to the supermarket. Marks and Spencer and has got a big range of craft beers. Like they're getting in all sorts of breweries, because it's what people buy. It's what people want. So I wouldn't say that craft beer on its own has changed the image of Hackney as kind of hipster area, but it is part of that. It's part of that creative sort of young creative part of London that we're living here. I think it's still cool, kind of. Still people come and move in, and artists try to stay around. London Fields was same thing, was full of studios and artists. And just at the bottom of this really tall building, grey industrial, they were full of artists. As I said there, I had like 5-6 clients who lived there and worked, and they live in their studios and things like that.
Okay. And kind of finally, so how do you see this change progressing in, like, say, 5 or 10 years' time? Do you think what will Hackney look like in 5 or 10 years' time?
Oh,
in your opinion?
If I could see the future. But in my opinion, because I signed the lease here for 10 years, so my intention is to stay here 10 years or more.
Where would you move on to, out of interest?
This back room, where would I move on to after 10 years?
If you thought about it.
I don't know, actually. My plan is actually there's a back room we've got here to make a small brewery, very small capacity. So then kind of we sell our own beer as well, and hopefully very soon maybe to get another shop in another area where there's more kind of. But I do plan to say, the way I see it, it's just getting more and more because of more residential areas being built. For example, because as I said, I live sort of on the border of Hackney and Tower Hamlets as well, and I can see so many kind of new buildings coming up and schools becoming better. Like the schools of my children this year has been an outstanding school. I mean that it is on Tower Hamlet because it's just on the other side of the road, but I know this school, London Field School there again as well, become like an outstanding school. Because my daughter now is going to secondary school, but it's a Haggerston school, very good, getting into kind of up. So I think that it's a more kind of working middle class, because I always say working middle class because if you're without work, the middle class is very fluid. You know, it can go up and down. It defines kind of the society in a way. Because if you lose your job, then you suddenly. But so more professionals, more are coming in the area to live in the area. Like all my neighbours are that moved at the same time because it was a new building. So they are either, I mean, next door neighbour is a doctor, lawyers, things like that. So it's changing the structure of people here, and it's going to change in the next 10 years even more. Because that city that has come to Shoreditch, and now from Shoreditch is moving Hackney Road, and it's moving sort of up towards Hackney Central more. I remember when I came here, it happened like that with Islington and Angel. It was quite cheap, or how to say, kind of area. The city was next door, but then suddenly people, from the city, because the city was doing well, business and stock market and all these kind of big businesses, then they started buying properties right next to the city, which starts kind of Islington to go. Now that area as well is a really expensive and expensive houses, and you've got High Street with 20, 30 restaurants. Here, still not that like that, but you've got now in the end there one good coffee shop, cocktail bar. You've got My Laughing Heart, you've got Nicola in the end. So suddenly, my shop here, because this is what I mean. It's not an off license where you just buy cheap beer. It's a bit more kind of for middle class or
it's definitely
people who've got a bit better income to spend 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds on a beer, because again, they don't want to buy 5 beers; they buy 1 beer. So it's changing. I mean, all these means for a year or so I was going back and forth asking people when are they leaving. So all these wholesale bag shops are disappearing, closing down. You've got 2 record shops open there. You've got a little Portuguese cafe, wine bar. It's changing very quickly. So again, the only thing that will stop it is if general kind of economy, financial situation of UK,
if that changes,
stagnates. If economy stagnates in general, this will stagnate. But it's changing. I mean, and we're part of it.
Okay. I think you've been very informative. It's been really good talking to you.
Happy to help. I was a student myself.
Where did you study?
I studied in Surrey. I studied film and animation.
Oh, cool.